We all need to be getting up out of our chairs. Get up out of the chair. Now, for my chair yoga classes that I teach at ARE Studio, we sometimes put in front of my class title, Take a Seat. Because I will tell you, chair yoga is great for people who are recovering from different types of surgery, people that have mobility issues, they haven't exercised in a while. And we do get up out of the chair and we use the back of the chair for some things. So we're not sitting all the time. But in life, we can get stuck on chairs, both physically and symbolically. I've seen far too many people, considerably younger than me, who have sat for so long in their free time in their recliners, in their rocking chairs, on their sofas, what have you, that they're stiff. They have joint issues. They don't move as well. They say they're out of shape. Well, go figure. They're not doing anything. They're just sitting. And I get when people come home, especially if they work a job that's really hard physical labor, they just want to chill. I get that, but at least they're out there doing something physical on the job. I'm talking about people who don't. You have a lot of people that work in offices who sit for most of the time, and then they come home and they keep sitting. That is not healthy. That will age you faster than anything. You need to move your muscles, your joints. So think about, if you have not exercised in a while, getting up off your tush and just taking a slow stroll around the block. Consult with your healthcare provider, especially if you haven't exercised in a while. Movement is medicine. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But let's talk about the symbolic meaning behind getting up out of your chair. We can all get stuck. I've talked about this. I've talked about this about lying on mats and being afraid to get off mats. Where are you sitting for too long? And here's a key phrase. Where are you allowing yourself to sit for too long? Very few people can make us sit. We allow ourselves to sit. And there are all sorts of examples I could give. But, thinking about something I went through several months ago, I had the chair pulled out from underneath me. I've been sitting on that chair too long. Out of love, out of a false hope, out of trauma from my past that won't allow me, or I wasn't allowing it to propel me off the chair. I was just stuck there. You have to get off and you have to take a step, and it can be really scary. I know, but I'm taking steps. And I lived stuck on a chair for a long time. I'm not going to live stuck on a chair in this afterlife after that situation. And I honor it for what it was. So think about your own life. Where are you sitting for too long? Where are you allowing yourself to sit for too long? There are always options, people. Sometimes you have to think outside the box, but there are always options for getting off that chair. When I was life coaching, one of the most important things we did was to identify a first step. A first step. It's like being on a game board. Start. You have your little pawn, your little piece, and it's start, and you roll the dice or whatever. And then you launch from start and you start to move forward. You have to take a first step. And I get that it can be scary to do that. Believe me, I understand that. But I want to encourage you to do that. So 2 things. Don't physically sit for too long. Even if you work in an office, use a timer. Get up every 20 minutes, stretch, do knee bends if you have good knees, do something, move around. And then think about in your life where you've been sitting for too long. You've gotten a little too comfortable, but you're not happy. Get up off the chair and start moving. Give life a big standing ovation by getting up out of that chair. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week, and I hope you don't sit for too long.